welcome aboard, everybody. It is Back to the Window with Scott and Scott. I am Scott Steen. I am the host of the show. I'm the lead handicapper at winnersandwhiners.com.
I'm your co-host, Scott Rochelle, senior handicapper over winnersandwhiners.com.
And together we do this each and every day, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. Scott, the warm-up music seemed like slow today. Just really.
I noticed it too. Yeah.
Just there's almost like I almost fell asleep before the show started. We need to up the pace a little bit. So good to see you guys here. Tim Earl in the house. No, Tim's a big North Carolina guy, and he's rooting for them Heels tonight. Scott, is the national championship going to take a heel turn?
Potentially. I mean, I'm rooting for Carolina too. I've been a Carolina fan my whole life. On top of that, I'm going to be getting together with a friend of mine who I actually watched the Final Four game with, and he has a $200 ticket on Carolina to win the title at 25-1. So he's going to be sweating out a ticket to win $5K. So I'm going to be there in support, and he's got a Carolina hat. He's got a keychain. He's ready to roll. Go Heels.
He's got a keychain. Wow.
Well, he started buying random merchandise for the school as like good luck charms kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
And he was trying to get the jersey, but I believe it was too last minute, so I'm not sure if he actually pulled it off or not. But yeah, he just randomly started buying random Carolina stuff. And the more things he buys, the greater the luck charm becomes. So he's kind of just been rolling with it ever since.
How does he know?
Well, he hasn't stopped yet, and they keep winning. So, I remember it reminds me of this old beer commercial. And the commercial was about superstitions for fans.
Mm-hmm.
And the slogan at the end of the commercial was, "It's only weird if it doesn't work."
If it doesn't work, yeah.
Correct. So he's going to do whatever he can to help the team. I'm rooting for it, of course, as a fan. Even though I have witnessed several championships in my time, I think the Final Four win combined with the Cameron Indoor win, probably the most satisfying time of my fandom. Just
and how
fantastic
does,
from top
how
to
does
bottom.
One just randomly become a North Carolina fan?
Through my father. My father was a very big North Carolina fan, mostly around when Jordan was there, actually, with Dean Smith. And ever since then, my dad's always rooted for Carolina. And as a result, I think my dad kind of made a rule similar to football, where you can root for any team except for this team. Football was the Giants. Under no circumstance could I be a Giants fan. College basketball was Duke. Under no circumstance could I root for Duke. So I just became a Carolina fan with him, and we've watched him ever since. So I don't know if you prioritize championship game wins over rivalry wins, but retiring the coach in the Final Four in a game of that magnitude, and a game that was really that high quality, it was a great basketball game. That's probably the best win that I've had as a fan, including the championship wins over Gonzaga, Michigan State, and Illinois.
All right. Very good. People checking in the comment section. JR Black's here. What up, JR? Great day. Great Scots. I like that. Temple 243 UNC money line worked before, could work again. JR Black says, is there any consideration or any correlation between a Duke North Carolina game wins losses of the next game? My thought process, the emotion aspect could be emotional letdown.
This was my main point going into the actual Duke Carolina game, where people were just going to say, well, Carolina is going to be at a disadvantage because Duke should be motivated to avenge the loss at Cameron Indoor. And my argument was, A, it's the Final Four, so why would you need any extra motivation? B, these schools hate each other, so why would you need any extra motivation? The only thing that matters in this game, you can argue on maybe an emotional letdown. I disagree with it. You're playing for a national title.
Right.
You don't need any extra motivation. You think Carolina thought they were going to go to the title game halfway through the year when they were on the bubble? Of course not. They're the Cinderella story of the tournament. They're happy to be there. And Carolina is a blue blood program that's expected to win championships. And Kansas was a 1 seed for most of the year. They were the number one. Were they the number 1 team for a couple days, cup of coffee at some point?
Kansas?
Yeah. Were they ever the number 1 overall team?
I believe they were after Gonzaga lost.
That's what I thought. So they were, worst case scenario, a top 4 team for the majority of the season.
Yes.
So they're expecting to win 2. Kansas hasn't won since the Mario Chalmers shot. I don't think motivation really matters because I think that both teams, obviously for a title game, don't need added motivation.
Okay, very good.
You? What do you think?
No, there could be a little hangover, but no, I can't believe there's not enough motivation to get up for playing for the national championship. I can't buy the letdown spot. Thomas Bowe likes North Carolina plus the 4. Peter Wolf playing the over. T-Train in the house, man. Enjoy those days before you get the shack open, Tony. JC Stone very excited about Harvick. How'd you feel about that, bud? I had 3 drivers in the top 10. I lost points to you guys. Unbelievable.
I had 3 drivers in the top 10 too. Unfortunately, I had Truex to win a 10-1, and it looked like he was cruising for about, I don't know, an hour and a half.
Oh yeah, I
It
had Blaney
looked
too.
really, yeah. I'd say the beginning of stage 2 all the way through to about 30 laps left. So maybe about, I don't know, 180 laps, something like that.
Yeah.
It looked like he was just cruising. Nobody was going to stop him. And then his car, unfortunately, didn't have enough at the end. And Hamlin came on late like a madman. So, yeah, I'd have no regrets on it. I had the favorite for the majority of the race. It just didn't work out.
All right, very good. And of course, we all do want to remind you guys to like our video right here. Like it, pound that thumb, or subscribe to our YouTube channels, both the Max Wagers Network and the Winners and Wonders YouTube network as well. And check out all the other great shows on the Max Wagers Network starting at noon. Midday Money with Sean Higgs, the Plus Money Honey, the one and only Allie Burns stopping by at 1 o'clock, and she gets a case of morning wood.
Duke,
then,
baby.
course, the parlay master, the king of all parlays, Chris King, along with Jim Williams, doing just parlays at 2. Yours truly and Scott Reichel at 3. And hitting cleanup, as always, is the Earl boys, Tim and Nick, along with Detroit Lenny, doing Game Time Decision at 5 p.m. So check those all out on the Max Wagers Network and the Picks and Parlays Network and YouTube. And Winners and Wonders. So Lawrence is a nice campus. It is. Quantrell did his best, but only take it so far.
By the way, since you brought up the Earls, I do want to ask you something. Since baseball season starts in a couple of days, I'm assuming you've noticed what we predicted would happen, and it's already started to happen. It's the outbreak of pitching injuries, right?
The Mets are fucked.
Though that's a classic, but in general, the amount of injuries we've already had. And we talked about the possibility with the rushed spring training and how everything was put together at the last minute. We questioned if maybe the immediate ramp up to action would result in a bunch of injuries. And it felt like 30 players got injured over the weekend, right?
I really kind of did. T-Train says he sees McCormick as the key for KU, and Lightfoot came in. It seemed like Nova was able to creep up.
Yeah.
Huge presence in the middle. Agreed. You got to have somebody to deal with Baycott.
Well, that was my argument that I made before it went on air. We were looking at the tournament's most outstanding player odds, which I found extremely peculiar because, of course, Kansas is favored in this game.
Right.
So the betting favorite should be a Kansas player. It's like Baji, which I can't say is fully surprising, but he's plus 110.
Yeah.
And you can look at the overall tournament. See, this is the issue I have with the most outstanding player. It's supposed to be a tournament award, but it's extremely biased to the what have you done for me lately philosophy. So if you just have a really good Final Four period, you're basically automatically going to win the award, even though I don't think Agbaji's had a great tournament at all.
He's averaged 14 points per game, bud. He's had a high of 21 against Villanova, a low of 5 against Providence.
Okay, so before the Villanova game, which of course, national TV, Final Four, most recent game, he was great. He made his first 6 3-pointers, I think. He was pretty good. The first couple of rounds, he was really non-existent. He really didn't do much. And I know that you said he's averaging 14 points per game.
Yeah, he had 11 and 15 his first 2 games, along with 14 rebounds. He had 26 points, 14 rebounds first 2 games. That ain't nothing.
I'm just saying. But the point is, he's plus 110 to win most outstanding player.
Yeah, no,
he's averaging about 14 points per game.
No, that's not a great price. I would, and we talked about this before the show. I would take a spin here if you like North Carolina. I'd take a little sprinkle on Baycott and Love as well to win Outstanding player. What did you tell me? It was 450 and 525 respectively.
I know that Love was 4-1. I believe Baycott was around 525.
Okay.
If I was picking one Kansas player, though, I would pick the most impactful player on the team, which I know that T-Train mentioned right here. I would pick McCormick. I think McCormick is the most valuable player on the team, especially when it comes to the title game. You have an injured Baycott, so McCormick should have an advantage, at least in quickness, against Baycott for this game. We know as long as Baycott is in the game, you basically cannot bench McCormick because Lightfoot would get eaten alive trying to guard Baycott. And McCormick really does have a pretty good matchup to potentially go for 15 and 15 in this game. Would it shock you if he had a decent-sized double-double?
No, not at all.
So I mean, 6-1.
Although
that's a pretty good price.
I don't like his rebounding prop at 15.5 to 1.
Well, that was Baycott was 15
at 15.5. Sorry, not 15.
Yeah, that was what Baycott's numbers were. But the point is, McCormick, since we know Baycott can't shoot, McCormick should be in the middle the entire game, and he should play at least 30 minutes. So the point is, if you think McCormick, which I do, can go for 15 and 15 or something like that, and Agbaji doesn't have a 6-for-6 3-point shooting game, I think McCormick can really steal this thing, but it's 6-1.
Right.
I think that's a hell of a price.
I agree. 1777 memorabilia says everybody's on Kansas, including him and Mattress Mac, although the comment section there seems to be leaning North Carolina. JC Stone, quick baseball question. San Diego, Baltimore, or A's under season win? Which of the three would you hammer the hardest? A's. You?
I would say probably the A's. Shout out to them for getting rid of Minaya before the season started. I know we called that on our show. It's not a hot take. Everyone knew that they were going to trade him. The only question is, how many starts does Montes make before he gets shipped off to? It's either going to be Oakland or it's going to be San Diego for me. I know that they acquired Minaya. You can't be missing Tatis for about 2 months and expect me to take them like over, 87 and a half, 86 and a half or whatever. Like, I don't think they're winning 100 games. I don't think they're winning. Oh, they might not even win 81 games. I'm not sure they're going to finish over 500. So I don't think they're very good. Baltimore's tricky because the overall AL East, of course, is extremely difficult. And Baltimore, we know, is one of the lowest payrolls, and they're terrible. They do have some young players who actually looked pretty good last year. So maybe they can outscore people in the new dimensions of the ballpark. But when it comes to hammering hardest, I would probably agree with you. I probably would go with Oakland because they're actively trying to lose.
All right, very good. James Mounts in the house. Damian Cullen, interesting bet. Kansas win margin 1-10 plus 172. Don't hate that a bit. I
think the game should be close.
Yep. Mattress Mac is on both teams, says Tim Earl. He has a bet on Kansas and a team from the East region to win the championship.
The East region, I remember he made early, I think before the tournament started. I believe he had that, and then it came down to Carolina, Duke, and St. Peter's. That was basically the three choices he had, and he ended up, actually not even Duke. No, it was just St. Peter's and Carolina. And Carolina ended up getting into the actual game. Mattress Mac, though, doesn't strike me as being much of a hedge guy.
No, I don't think
I'm assuming he'll probably bet more on Kansas before the game. What do you think?
Dude, he's a fucking moron, and I hate being on the same side as him. That's what I would say about Mattress Mac.
See, the only way it balances out, though, and I made a joke about this on Twitter, the only way it balances out is if Drake bets on Carolina. That's the only way it balances out, because he's another one of those celebrity or, recreational bettors who's just absolutely terrible. Just awful. I know he had 100-something thousand on Duke over the weekend. He put 400,000 on Masvidal against Covington, which was monumental waste of money. I mean, I could have told you that. Yeah, he's also a terrible bettor. So if Drake and Mattress Mac end up competing against each other, you're going to have a war on your hands for who's the bigger mush. That's all I'm saying.
1777 wants to know how Mattress Mac is able to bet so much money. Well,
because he's an idiot.
2 reasons. That's the biggest one. The second reason is it's good publicity for the casino as well.
Yeah.
So not only does Mattress Mac get publicity, but whoever takes his bet gets publicity as well, and that gets.
You also have the indirect side bets, because I'm sure some people in a championship game like this would either A, be backing Mattress Mac, or B, the guy's an idiot, he never wins anything, I have to fade the guy. So just by taking his action, you are also kind of creating a ripple effect for other people betting solely based on what he bet.
Yep. Agree. James Mounts sums up what we just said in 3 minutes in one sentence. Moron with big bucks. Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Absolutely. David Good says, excellent ballpark food in Baltimore. I would agree with that. I had the crab cakes there and some crabby nachos. They were fucking excellent shit.
Now, it really depends on what your go-to meal is at a ball game. It's almost impossible to mess up a hot dog or a hot pretzel.
Oh, you haven't been to enough games because they'll sure give it a shot.
Really?
Hot pretzel, I agree with you. Hot dog, sure, you can fuck it up. No, you start with a bad quality dog.
Okay, fair enough.
Stuff, you know. I personally, I like to sample unique items to that ballpark.
Okay.
Like, you know, you go to Texas, you have the fucking barbecue nachos or whatever, and you
the heart attack nachos on a bun.
Yeah, basically. Mets and Tigers, Shogun. I was going to say, Tim, Mets bullpen looks to be in midseason form as they already puked up the lead, and now they're trying not to lose the game outright in the bottom of the ninth as Ottavino is struggling. Shocker. And I think that's nope. You're going to get the out. So we're at a tie game. Congratulations. Mattress Mac. Yeah, that's what I was going to say, Magellan. That's what I wanted to bring about Mattress Mac. You know, he gives a deal, right? Like if you buy this mattress and X team wins, you get everything free.
But I was going to say, though, I have to interrupt because that was the case, Magellan, for the Astros. Because they were the local team. I don't think he branched it out to random teams that are not in the neighborhood. I think that insurance policy was only for the Astros.
I don't think that's
because
true.
They were the local team, I think.
I don't think that's right.
So you're telling me that a mattress store in Houston was going to give out free mattresses if the Buccaneers won the title?
Yes.
I don't buy that for a second.
Dude, he hedges it with the bet. That's the whole point.
No, I get it, but I'm saying I'm pretty sure the promo involves the local team. I don't think they're rooting for random teams in different leagues.
I don't know.
I know that was 100% the case for the Astros when they won the championship and when they were in the running. I don't think it had to do with the other sports.
All right, so surely we got somebody from Texas, we got somebody from Houston that can give us an opinion on this. I think he expanded it beyond the Astros.
He expanded his gambling. I don't know if the promotion also applied past. I don't know.
All right, so let's talk a little bit before we talk about tonight's game. Let's dude, Sonoran hot dog. Oh fuck, yes, with the big fan. Anyway, Warren OK Robinson says it is beyond local. Both house and player. East region was if Texas or Baylor wins, they get their money back, says Tim Earl. Okay. So there you go, youngin. It's all about breaking even and selling some mattresses.
Well, that's a terrible deal anyway. You get your money back if Baylor wins the title. Wins the whatever. They're the 1 seed. That's a terrible bet.
No, it was Baylor or what was the other
Texas, because they're the local teams.
Okay.
Baylor's in the East region. So you lose the 1 seed. That's a terrible bet. Unless he went out of the state.
Okay. All right. Michael Dost. Oh, here's a controversial opinion. Putting ketchup on a hot dog screws it up. Yes, I'm from Chicago. Okay, Michael, you don't have to be from Chicago. That's a fucking terrible.
Do you have a go-to topping on a hot dog?
Oh, absolutely. If all the options are open to me, I know one, I like a good Chicago dog, the sport peppers and the green relish, all that shit. But if it's just me, I'm going to put onions, sauerkraut, and mustard. That's it. That's what.
The regular onions or sautéed?
Regular. I like a little crunch there.
Okay.
So there you go. And you? What do you got for a dog?
I'm pretty basic. Yeah. So I'm more of a hot sauce guy. Okay. I actually like a little bit of heat. But for the most part, yeah, I'm with you on the onions. Sauerkraut on occasion, not often. I've never been a big ketchup guy.
Okay.
Or really like mustard or relish. I'm not really one of those basic condiment guys. I'm a hot sauce guy.
All the hard-hitting sports topics of the day. That's right.
Yeah. We'll talk about ballpark food. That's important stuff. You got opening day in a couple of days. You got to prepare your order.
Absolutely right. Chili cheese, barbecue sauce. See, dude, see, you have to factor in you're eating in a fucking seat. Now, if I'm sitting in a restaurant or at my house, sure, good chili dog, fantastic. If I'm trying to juggle that and a drink in the stands, it becomes a bit of a challenge. That's my
I
problem.
think my dad's gotten the same thing at a baseball game for the last like 30, 40 years. He gets a big pretzel with
Okay.
honey mustard, and that's it. That's literally it. It's the only thing he gets. It's
All right.
one of the most basic orders you can get, but it really never misses.
Mustard and onions, plain and simple. I'm all over that too, Tate. No problem. Maybe add some cheese. Okay. Yep. New York City hot dog, way to go. Again, it's hard to beat a good Nathan's. Agreed. Hot dogs at UA are terrible. 2 or 3 bites. Yes. Where's you? But I'm from Philly. Magellan, you're from Philly. Geno's, or what's the other one, Scott? You know?
No, I forgot.
Pat's.
Oh, okay.
Mustard, onion, yeah, pickle rose. There's your Chicago dog right there. The Hebrew Nationals out of New York. Yep, also very good. Dixon chili, dude. No, David. I'm sorry. I love you, buddy, but
Is that better than Skyline chili?
Oh God. Okay. Dixon's chili has been around since like 1917. It's pretty close to my house, and it comes out, and you get like beans and a bowl of meat that has like a layer of grease on the top. It is like one of the most visually unappealing things as far as their chili goes. I can't get behind it. Now the taste is good. The taste is okay. Certainly better than Skyline, where they put the fucking whatever they put in there, cocoa or whatever makes it sweet. But best part of baseball is eating dogs with a friend.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard.
You don't even need the dog. As long as you just have good company, you can just go to any game.
Yep. Steak and shake chili. Yeah, dude. For fast food chili, I 100% agree. They put actual steak in it. So, Pat's, there you go, Magellan. Of course, I know you would know. I was checking to see if Rachel would know.
All right. So you want to segue?
Yeah, let's do it. I want to talk about. I'm loving the hot dog talk. I really am. Well, welcome to Linda Risman is hot dog talk. No big whoop. We talk hot dogs. I want to talk about where that Duke, North Carolina ranks on the pantheon of all-time great tournament games.
Okay, we going Final Four. We're going all-time in any capacity.
Well, I think you have to up. I mean, any capacity in the tournament. It could be a first-round game, but it's likely going to be more memorable the deeper it goes in the tournament. So,
yeah,
I mean, if you got a second-round game, you want to make a case for it, go ahead. But
I think my argument would be that when it comes to games Duke was involved in, it's not even number one. I mean, it has to be the Leitner game. And I don't even like Duke at all. But, I mean, the Leitner game was an overtime game where both teams scored 100. I mean, that's one of, if not the best college basketball game of all time. My favorite Final Four game, of course, is probably this one because of all the fandom part of it. But for me, the best Final Four game that I've personally seen in my lifetime was last year. It was a Gonzaga UCLA.
Yeah, I
that is an all-time game, and it's very tough to beat it.
Yeah, it is. I've got a couple, and this is
fandom games or unbiased games.
No, totally unbiased games. I don't even know that I had money on these. Well, I know I had money on one of them, but it was the North Carolina State Houston game.
Okay,
it was just that moment was so unexpected because he takes that shot, and the first thing you're like, "Fuck, dude, there's time left. That's not even going to be close." And then just
it wasn't close, but that worked out to their benefit.
Right, just the stick back, or the stick. I guess it's more.
I think it's tricky for me to fully evaluate games pre-shot clock era, just because of the pace.
Yeah,
and I know it was different because before the shot clock existed, you didn't really know what else to expect. That was just what you were used to. But I'm sure if you go back to one of those games, or you go back to watching Dean Smith with the 4 corners, it was probably brutal if you go back to it now.
Yep.
You see one shot attempt every 2 minutes.
Well,
I might factor it in when you compare.
I mean, I know I've told you the story about my high school basketball team that was coming off the state championship. They went to a team that had no chance to beat them. They totally went 4 corners the whole game. My team won the game 3-2.
Yeah.
So, but North Carolina used to be so frustrating because they'd get a 6-8 point lead with 8 minutes left, and they'd fucking go into the 4 corners. It was it was just insufferable to watch.
Summer mentioned the other game that I was thinking of. Of course, I root for North Carolina, so it's rough. But you have the Jenkins shot. You have a buzzer beater to win the national championship game. I mean, that's another great moment. T-Train's talking about Villanova, Georgetown.
That's the other one. That's the
They
other
shot
one.
what, like 70% from the floor?
Yep,
Like
that's the other
80%
one I
from the
was gonna.
floor?
That was the other one I was gonna mention. I had a bet on that game. I stood in the middle of a sports bar and watched it. It was. I'll never forget the first two shots. Ewing probably was up in the air 11 fucking feet and knocked him out. They're both goaltending.
Yeah.
And you saw how hyped up he was. But that Villanova team just could not miss. It was 85, right? Yeah.
Yes, that was 85.
85. So, yeah, went to a regional with Bill Walton versus Dayton. Triple overtime win for UCLA. Greatest game I ever attended. That's hard to argue with a triple OT. Thanks for STM checking it out. Noticing the fresh shave. That's there you go, kid.
I think it's the best game in the North Carolina Duke rivalry. Always because it's the only time they ever met in a tournament game.
Right.
So I think that's probably number one when it comes to the rivalry itself. But for NCAA tournament games, the immediate overreaction of this is the best game of all time, or this is the best Final Four game. We literally had UCLA Gonzaga last year.
Right.
It's not even the best game of the 2020s.
Right.
Like we can pump the brakes a little bit.
Tim Earl bringing up Syracuse and UConn 6 overtimes. Yeah.
That wasn't a tournament game, but that is a great game. Yep. That was a Big East tournament game.
Right. 3 Big East teams in the Final Four. Yep, that's right. Of course, back in the, I think it was they talked about the last time these two teams met for the championship was actually in Kansas City at the old municipal auditorium, and I think it was 50. It was either 53 or 57. I think it was 57, but it was a triple overtime game as well. And they used to do, like, on the anniversary, they like run little things in the paper. So I actually know a little bit about this game, and it was pretty incredible. It was pretty. It was a hell of a game. I wish I would have seen it. Not even I was alive for that one, Scott. Nathan Sterner likes UNC first half. I've been a big backer of this 10 minutes of hell that Kansas runs. Like, if you look back at their games, they've usually had a stretch of about 10 to 12 minutes where they just blow the other team out and they have no answer, and they play them even for the rest of the time.
Usually in the first half, isn't it?
Well, it is in the early in the tournament. It kind of been in the second half, but they did that against Miami. But then they came out strong in the first half, so they really played 30 really good minutes of basketball before shitting the bed. Well, I mean, they played them even. They played them plus 15 for the first 10.5 minutes. They played them plus 1 for the rest of the game. So
they just completely blitzed Villanova from the start, and the game was over at that point. Or it wasn't fully over because Villanova cut it to 6. But you know what I mean. Kansas kind of cruised there. But anyway, we're almost at the third.
By the way, Tony, you're absolutely right, dude. You can tell Rachel's like the game last year, and I'm talking about.
Well, I said last year because of just to highlight the recency bias. That was my main point.
And it's a good one, but I'm just saying.
I mentioned the Leitner game.
I'm trying to highlight. Wait, you're saying I'm trying to highlight the recency bias by talking about last year's game?
Yeah, that was my point, because people are so caught up in the now, they forgot about what happened less than a year ago. That was my point.
Let alone 1984 and 1985.
Yeah, or let alone the Leitner shot. Like, there's a lot of moments that people just forget about immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, very good. David, we're going to do a Masters show.
Are we? That's news to me. I didn't even know we were doing
It's been strongly suggested that we should do a Masters show. I talked to you about this on Friday.
Yeah, briefly.
Okay. Well,
that implies I was listening to the conversation.
Okay. Well, it's not complete news to you then. We're gonna see if we can
get news. It's not breaking, but it's news.
We're gonna see if we can get somebody that knows even more about golf than we do. I know that's hard to believe, but by the way, my kid played golf for the first time in 3 years this weekend. Shot bogey golf. So
okay, that's not terrible.
Shout out to him. Nope. As long as he didn't shoot lower than that, that's fine. That's my cutoff. I've told you my golf theory. I've never known anybody that played better in bogey golf that wasn't a douchebag.
So he's not a dick. There you go.
That's
Congratulations.
I agree, Summer Sweat. I think Tiger's going to play. Scott, you want to hit that real quick? He's out there playing practice rounds. Played 9. He's going to.
I got to figure out what the best line is, because you can shop around for him to complete one stroke, and the lines are all over the place. It was like minus 300, then it went to about minus 3,000, and now it's back down to like minus 500 because Tiger said he's a game time decision.
Right.
Personally, I think he's going to play. I think he's going to complete the entire tournament? Separate story. But I do expect him to be there for the opening tee.
Now, complete the entire tournament that he is eligible for. In other words, if he doesn't miss the if he misses the cut, what does that do? Are you talking about that he flat out withdraws?
There's a separate prop bet on if he will even hit the opening tee.
Okay.
The yes is
I
like
get
minus 500.
Okay, well, I get that. No, you're saying whether he completes the tournament, and I'm
Yeah.
saying what defines completing the tournament? Is it
Truth is
just
either or.
okay? So if he misses the cut, he completed the tournament.
If he gets through 2 rounds, I'll be impressed. I think
Uh,
he will,
okay,
but we'll see. Of course, I'm rooting for Tiger. I
right.
mean, I don't know how you're not rooting for Tiger, but do I think he's going to make the cut? No, I do not. Do you?
Magellan Sports brings up a good point, and that is the course has way too many hills for him to walk all 4 days. I have not walked the course at the Masters. I have been to that course. I've been
It's a
to
lot.
Augusta. It is. I'll tell you what, TV doesn't fucking do it justice as
Mhm.
how hilly that is,
And
and that
that's
is
one of the issues because Tiger, I'm sure, I'm pretty sure he asked for a golf cart and they told him no, right?
they had the big kerfuffle. No, this is probably before you were born, but I know somebody will help me with the
The
name
guy
here.
sued. I forgot what his name was, though.
His name was Casey. I can't remember his
Yes.
last name. His first name was Casey, and I can't remember, but he had a degenerative leg disease that literally prohibited him from walking. And I want to say that the PGA turned him down, and he, like you said, I think he had to get remedy through the courts.
Yeah, he did.
That's a tough course to walk. Been there, yeah. He knows how tough it is to walk. That's absolutely true.
That's
So
what I'm saying. So I'm not picking him to make the cut. I'm not picking him to do whatever. But all I'm saying is that if you can bet him to at least attempt 1 stroke, which means to hit the opening tee on hole number 1, I think he'll be there. I think the Masters is too important for him to miss it.
yeah. Although, man,
Even if it's symbolic.
See, I'm really torn on this. I'm not sure he wants to make a symbolic gesture. I'm not sure that Tiger wants to just show up and, fucking have Arnold Palmer Day, like, when these guys, Gary Player and these guys that
Yeah.
are still playing and go out there and, shoot 88 or whatever. And then, okay, well, that's fun. I don't think.
I think the counter argument, though, would be I don't know how many Augustas Tiger has left. So he might just try to savor every minute of it.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
You can make an argument either way.
We'll see. Casey Martin, Tate the Great. Exactly right. And T-Train says that went all the way to the Supreme Court. I'd forgot it. It went all the way. Yes.
He won in the end, I believe.
Yes. Then a couple of years later, they ended up having to amputate his leg. So
yeah.
He won't hit a ball to shoot an 85.
Depends what Tiger feels about his own abilities right now.
Yep.
If he thinks he's okay enough to potentially make the cut, then you better believe he's going to go for it. Now, that's once again goes back to your point. I don't know if he's going to be in for the symbolic gesture, but it is the Masters. Tiger made $10 million for being the biggest ambassador to the sport for popularity. Right. So, of course, we know the Masters ratings and everything will be huge if Tiger's there. It's really a tough call, but I do think that Tiger will hit the opening tee shot, in my opinion.
Michael Dove says if John Daly walked, then Tiger can. So here's the deal with Tiger. Only he knows what kind of shape he's really in, how much he's pushed himself, what he's done as far as rehab. Plus, Scott, if you've ever rehabbed an injury, you set goals. Mm-hmm. You set, and sometimes they're kind of semi-unrealistic. Like Tiger may have said, you know what, I want to be ready to play in the Masters. And that could have been his big fucking goal. So that could be the one argument on the side of symbolism, that maybe it was a milestone in his recovery that he had Augusta circled on his calendar.
He's played what, the one tournament? He played the Pro-Am with his son?
Yeah.
That's the only tournament he's played in like a year?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. We'll see.
Trying to think when this accident happened, like 14 months ago or so?
Give or take, yeah.
I want to say like in the winter. David Good said one jurist on the Supreme Court slept through the case, according to him. See his book to see who. I would be interested to check that out. Although
I might have voted for him because he won.
It's the Supreme Court, so everybody's 100. So I would fucking any of them could sleep through it. Should I bet on the Giants? Talk about team total.
Never bet on Daniel Jones. Oh, you mean baseball?
I hope if he means baseball team total, yes. We both liked the Giants. We thought that's where the other team that would pick up the wins in that horrible division, and everybody else would fucking blow chunks.
Pretty much. That's for the actual season. If you want to actually talk about the game today, They play against Oakland in about 30 minutes. Let me see who's actually going to be playing in that game. There's really the one thing about spring training. You got to actually confirm who's going to be playing or not. It looks like the Giants are going with mostly their usual lineup. It seems like Oakland's kind of half and half. I do like San Francisco there, though. They've been the better team in spring training. They're starting the majority of their normal everyday starters. Oakland, once again, is about half and half. So I actually do like the Giants in that spot.
All right. David Good said it was Thomas that slept. I don't know. I've never read that. I know Thomas did not ask a question for the first 16 years, first 16 sessions on the Supreme Court. T-Train says fade Oakland every time.
I don't know about every time, because at some point they're going to be like 3-1 on the money line.
Correct.
At some point during the year,
they're gonna catch up. The books are gonna catch up. I think Tony, I think you're right. I think we ride it. I think we ride that horse till it fucking dies. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I think at some point
start. Yeah,
it'll be somewhere probably around the first week in May that the books kind of figured out. Going, people are figuring it out. So
I mean, I forgot what Oakland started out last year when I called for Melvin's head. In my defense, they did get rid of him after the end of the season for a completely unrelated situation. But I believe they were. I'm trying to remember what were they 0-6 to start? Were they like 2-12 to start?
Yeah, it was a weekend you were calling for his job.
Pretty much. He did end up leaving at the end of the year. But the point is, Oakland last year got off to a terrible start. It would not surprise me if they're like 15 games under in like a month and a half, if not more. They might start off like 10-30.
Absolutely right. All right, hey, let's do our show real quick here. Man, we went down the rabbit hole completely.
Yes, we did. That was about a 30-minute rabbit hole.
Okay, you want to do it? You want to do it real quick here?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it, guys. Let's find out what happened over the weekend, and stop taking us down hot dog rabbit holes. I blame it all on you guys. All right, here we go, Scott. Let's find out who your winners were, who your whiners were. It's the Monday edition. It is time to call the cops. Alrighty, kids. We're going to start off in preseason baseball down there in Florida. If you had the Phillies on the run line, -1.5 against the Tigers. Well, they led by 5 after 7 innings. Surely you can't even fuck this up in preseason, right? Oh, wrong. Tigers scored 4 in the top of the 8th. Phillies, well, they still won. They didn't cover the run line. So sad. Phillies backers, if you had the run line there, call the cops.
And now we got a couple of Saturday plays, so you know it was especially bad if we're going back in time. Starting off with the afternoon hockey game on Saturday between the Devils and the Panthers.
Yeah,
if you bet the Devils on the money line at +210, they lost their last game 8-1, but you thought maybe they'd bounce back. Well, they did. They led 6-2 after the second period. So you have 4 goals to play with. Just don't be an idiot. And they were. They gave up 4 unanswered goals in the third period. They went to overtime. You blow a lead like that, you're not winning in overtime. And the Panthers won. Devils take it, rip it up. You blew a 4-goal lead in the third period.
And also on Saturday, if you had the Rockies on the money line going against the Athletics, if you started fading the A's early to beat the Rush, well, you're in great shape. 11-5 entering the bottom of the 9th. Oh, my God. Really? That's right. Oakland scored more runs than they'll probably score in a lot of 3-game stretches this year. They scored 6 runs in the bottom of the 9th. The game ended up in a push, 11-11. That's no good. Sure, go ahead. You get your money back. Are you happy about that? You are not. You
were up 11-5.
Yeah. You
were
a 6-run lead in the 9th. You are not happy. That is what we call a push loss right there, kids. Time to call the cops.
That's awful.
Awful. All right. And of course, there is the opposite of the cop car, and that's the rocking chair, guys. Let's see indeed who was sitting in the lazy boy rocking chair.
So the first one, if you had the Knicks yesterday, -5 against the Magic, we know the Magic are basically tanking. Knicks led by 10 at the half, and they won by 30.
There you go. And if you had the Thunder, +14, fuck, give those points back. Sure, they trailed by 1 at halftime, but they put it on the poor, hapless Phoenix Suns. Jesus, is that team ever going to win a game? Thunder, they win by 21. Break up the Thunder. They're going all the way.
And the last one, if you had the Warriors -4.5 against the Kings, they led by 20 at halftime, and they won by 19.
All right, very good. And we do have a speaking of golf. I'm sorry, did you say kill all the golfers? Golfers, man. Heading into the Masters, you would expect some guys to be in really good form. You expect to see some other surprises. There's always the story, Scott, sometimes the last tournament where somebody that's never won gets that victory and gets to play in the Masters, and that's what we had in the tournament over the weekend in the Valero Texas Open. Scott, let's find out who it is. Open up the spit valves, blow that shit out of there, and get ready to blow your trumpet because it's time to find out who is the gambling hero of the weekend. All right, very good. And Scott, I'll let you take this one because I've actually got a little audio visual queued up for this one. So go ahead, sir.
So for this one, it's going to be PGA Tour golfer JJ Spawn. Who exactly? Because he was 210 to 1 to win the Valero Texas Open. That's plus 21,000 if you're doing the math at home. And not only did he win it, it was a bit sweat-free. He actually won by 2 strokes. But anytime you can
that
cash,
ribbon, he was set up for a score. JJ Spawn opened with double bogey. This was after he had a share of the lead at the 54-hole mark, but he ends the front side with a bang as he.
That looks like all of my chip shots right there, Scott. How about you?
get in the hole. Yeah, it's definitely a nice shot there, but
They call that touch
210 to
around
1.
the green, my friend.
I was
210
gonna
to
say,
1, baby.
That's a hell of a deal.
Friend should have $250 on that one. That would have been the play.
Mm-hmm.
So do you like Spawn to go all the way in the Masters?
No, but shout out to him for making it into the Masters.
Hells to the yes. It's the spawn of a new generation. Somebody asked about our WrestleMania bet. Scott, did you ever tally those up?
I did not, but I believe we actually did okay. I know the huge upset, quote unquote, was Ronda, who ended up losing to Charlotte Flair.
I actually watched that match.
I did not. I know that apparently she had an arm bar in and she tapped and nobody saw it. Some random bullshit and she lost. But
I'll tell you what happened. She was knocked. They threw Ronda into the referee, and she got up. She got on Flair, got the arm bar. Flair tapped out really fast, and the referee was out. Ronda went to get the referee and wake him up. Go, look what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to do it again. And then Charlotte hit her with a kind of blindsided her while she was fucking with the referee and pinned her. So
yeah, from what I heard, the main takeaway from the actual day 2 was Vince McMahon doing the worst selling job on a stutter in probably the history of WrestleMania.
Okay, well,
that was my main. That's the one thing I heard there. But all I know is for the actual bets, I was the only one who liked Roman laying like 350. On the show, and he won because I thought that was the easiest bet to make for the entire card. We were right about McAfee. That worked out. I don't know about the actual tag team stuff. I'm not sure how that went. I believe we did okay.
I didn't see it. Well, Johnny Knoxville did either. But,
I didn't see it. I didn't see that either. True, but I believe we did okay though for the main stuff.
Yeah, it was pretty chalky. But
we weren't going to lay minus 900 with Ronda, so there you go.
We're not. No, good call there. Whatever. All right, buddy. Well, let's get to it, shall we? I see you're back away from the shed. So, Scott, we've got a modest 1-game winning streak going. I'm pretty excited about that. But once again, kids, it is time. Put on those overalls, grab your straw hat, adjust it just right at a nice rakish angle. And, climb aboard your John Deere. Get out your lucky keys. Fire that bad boy up because, kids, it is time to bet the farm. All right, I'm still going to figure out the timing on this, but Scott, let's take a look and see. This is the view right out my front door. There you go. That's what isn't everybody in the East think that's what the Midwest looks like? That's what it all looks like right there.
I mean, I went to Wisconsin, so I was just expecting to see farmland. I saw actual cities. It caught me off guard, you know?
Yeah, kind of weird, huh? All right, well, let's take a look and see what we've got cooked up for tonight. Scott, we are going to turn to the ice. I think we've talked about our picks for the game tonight, and no NBA action. So we're going to take a look at the frozen pond. And hell, what? Why not, Scott? We're red hot on the ice. We've won how many in a row?
We've won one for the
One.
farm.
That's right.
But I have won 2 straight on my personal plays for hockey. So fingers crossed.
Okay. Well, take that for what it's worth. But tonight we're going to take in the Arizona Coyotes game. We're going to bet the farm.
It's a player prop in hockey.
It is a player prop in hockey. That's right. It is Ivan Prosvetov over 29.5 saves at -113. Why would we make such a bet? Well, there's a couple of reasons. First of all, Arizona at defense, as they say down there in the Southwest, is no bueno. They allow 35.5 shots per game. If you think that sounds like a lot, there's a reason. It's the most in the league. And they have bet twice this season already. St. Louis averaged 33.5 shots per game in those first two. Arizona playing the second night of a back-to-back. And that is important because Prosvetov should have a long leash tonight since the starting goalie is being given the day off. So there you go, kids. That's going to do it for Bet the Farm. We like Ivan Prosvetov over 29.5 saves. Now, we have talked about this. The only small danger would be if he gives up a shit ton and gets yanked, but that's why we put the last point in there, because the odds of him getting yanked are much smaller since they are giving the starting goalie the night off. So there you go.
Well, it seems like Arizona, as we already know, the season ended when it started because they've been terrible since the get-go. But the point is, they got nothing to play for. The starting goalie has actually been okay for them this season, but he played yesterday. It's a good spot for Arizona to potentially get their ass kicked, but at least give a young guy, a young goalie prospect, to potentially get a decent amount of playing time to actually evaluate him. I think the interesting part, by the way, completely unrelated, his ESPN page says that he's from Moscow, USSR.
Oh.
Doesn't even say Russia. So apparently he's from the Soviet Union. We're going to see how that goes.
Wow. He must be old.
It's on ESPN. I don't know why it says that, but it does say USSR. So
okay,
keep that in mind. There you go.
Take that for what you will.
Okay.
That's going to do it for the farm, though, and that's going to do it for the show. We appreciate you guys stopping by. As always, don't forget to check us out each and every day. You can check out Scott and I. You're going to do Allie's show tomorrow night?
Yes, I will be there.
Good. Check us out on Total Chaos along with our pal Chris King. And then stop by Wednesday, of course, for our Masters preview. But we do this each and every day, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. Scott and I will help you guide your way through the perilous journey and head back to the window. Take care, everybody.